Get ready for the show, it's about to begin. Pro fan talk when we dive right in. Sports talk, hot takes, ain't nothing we lack. We the real fans, nothing holding us back. Mic check, 1, 2, y'all know the drill. We bringing the energy, we keep it real. Touchdowns on the quick air run, the slam dunks on the court. Every sport, every game, we holding down the fort. We breaking down the plays, dissecting the stats. Pro fan talk, we keeping it fat. Debating with passion, no filter, no doubt. We the voice of the fans, we scream and we shout.
What's going on, good people? Happy Tuesday to you. Had a good weekend of football. Stone is set, the die is cast. We have all of our playoff players in position, getting ready to go. The Philadelphia Eagles will be hosting the Green Bay Packers this weekend, and we're going to get ready for that. And I think that is a good matchup for us. The tougher of the two, I kind of would have rather have faced off against Washington, but Green Bay doesn't scare me. I believe on both sides of the ball, we have the advantage as far as players. I know they got some injuries. Jordan Love is dinged up. They just lost Christian Watson, so they don't have a deep threat. And hey, man, everybody that was clamoring for Saquon to go for the record that last game, like, listen, man, this is why you don't do that, because you never know what's going to happen. You just never know. And I keep saying this. The safest thing to do is just remove that possibility from the playing board, remove that possibility from existence. That's what you got to do. And Nick Sirianni was the adult in the room, because I'm sure a lot of guys on that team wanted him to go for that record. But he made the smart decision. He made the smart play when everybody didn't want him to. Most of the people in Philadelphia wanted Saquon to go for that record. So I wanted him to get that record, but I knew he wouldn't. And even though I wanted him to get the record, I was glad that Sirianni shut him down, put everybody on ice. Because my logic was, if he's going to legitimately go for that record, that means Jalen needs to be playing. That means the offensive line needs to be playing. And the more starters you put on that field, the more the probability goes up that you could come down with an injury, man. So I'm glad that, again, Nick Sirianni did the smart move. He used his head and not his heart. And he did the smart coach move. That's what he gets. He gets paid to make that decision right there. He gets paid to make that decision. So I'm glad he did it. And looking everywhere else, Zay Flowers went down. Christian Watson went down. And I know there was a couple other injuries that I'm forgetting, man. It was a lot of injuries that last week of the season, man. And you have got to be so very careful, man. You have to be. Because you never know. You never know what can happen, man. You never know. But having said all of that, nothing happened to us. That was the first game all year. That was the first game for the Philadelphia Eagles where we had 0 injuries. Nobody was hurt. We didn't get anybody dinged up. At least I don't think. There was nobody on the injury report. Nothing major. I don't think we sent anybody to the tent. Nothing like that. That was a clean game. That is what I say when I've been saying this all year, when we have to have a clean game. That's exactly what I mean. No major injuries. And everybody can't say that. Everybody can't say that. Minnesota had a costly game. Detroit had a costly game. For both teams, that was an expensive game because they both lost starters. Detroit is already banged up, and eventually those injuries are going to catch up with them. But I will say that Detroit looked good, man. Detroit looked, woo. They looked like they was on point. But that game got away from Minnesota in the second half. Minnesota should have been right there in that game. I don't know why they decided to keep going on 4th down and they were what 0 for 4 in the red zone or something like that. Um, in the red zone 4 times, only got 6 points, I believe. Their red zone percentage was god awful, and it hurt them. It hurt them, and they were getting the ball like inside the 10-yard line, and they just could not get it in the end zone. Couldn't do it, and it hurt them. It hurt them. So um, the further along you get, you got to keep those. You got to take advantage of those opportunities, man. You just have to do it. There's no way around it because you never know when you're gonna get them again. And Detroit just kept their foot on the gas and just mashed them because the Vikings couldn't do anything. Couldn't do a thing. So, but they talk about you want to lose the game before you go into playoffs. But I know the Vikings didn't want to lose like that. So it is what it is. But we're getting ready. I've been watching some film of Green Bay. I went back and actually watched the Detroit game. I was watching I was about to watch the Texans game, but I didn't get a chance to. But looking at some stuff, took some notes. I'm going to watch some more film. But Packers have a good run defense, real good run defense. So um, that should be a good challenge for the Eagles' offensive line. However, Baltimore had a good run defense too. How many times have we come up against a really good run defense and we handled our business? And I don't see why this should be any different. I don't see why this should be any different. What's up, Carlos? To be honest, I'm not really worried about any team because I believe we match up well on both sides. I agree. Versus whoever is left in the playoffs now, things outside of our control can either keep us afloat or drown us. Yeah, you're right. You're right. We just gotta handle business. We just gotta handle business when we get our opportunity, man. The only thing that I'm worried about, legitimately, and I heard a couple people on the radio talk about this today, is Jalen Hurts being rusty. Because going during the week, so tomorrow, today's Tuesday, so this is the NFL day off, so they didn't do anything today. So I'm going to assume that he's in the film room watching film because they're not going to practice. But Wednesday and Thursday, man, Jalen Hurts has got to get that work in. He's got to get that work in, throwing the ball, getting his timing right, getting his rhythm back, because he hasn't played in 3 weeks, man. And it doesn't take much to develop a little rust. Now, what you want to say is he didn't skip a beat, and he comes out on fire, on pace, and everything is clicking. But I need to see it before I can call it, man. So, yeah, Jalen Hurts need to get all of that work tomorrow and Thursday because that's it. That's it. He got to be ready to go. He got to get that timing right with AJ and Devontae and Dallas Goedert. Dallas Goedert is back, so you got another safety blanket. So he's just got to be ready, man. That's my really only concern. That and Kellen Moore's his continuation to try to run up the middle all the damn time. Now, I was watching the Detroit game, Green Bay versus Detroit, and watching Jahmyr Gibbs go off tackle. If you saw that game against the Vikings the other day, it just pains me every time I see it. I see all of these other teams running their running backs off tackle and pitching them outside, and we don't do it. And it's frustrating because there's a lot that we can get with that. There's a lot we can get with that. Yes, you got to pick your spots and you got to play it the middle to the outside, and you got to be strategic on it. But man, we need to be running the ball outside a little bit more, man. We got to stretch that defense out, set up Saquon for cutbacks, and we just got to keep the defense on pursuit, flowing side to side. Because you know my rule: when the defense has to go side to side, move laterally, it sets up the blocks for the offensive lineman. And those zone reads, man, we got a home run hitter back there in Saquon Barkley. We have the best running back in the NFL. We need to set him up to be successful. And you can do that by running more plays outside. You're not going to abandon the middle, but you can run more plays outside. So I hope to see that. I don't want to waste this opportunity. So we really got to stretch that defense out because, like I said, they got a pretty good defense. I was looking at it earlier. Let me see if I can bring it back up. Let me see. Teams, stats, team defense. I think they're ranked fifth, fourth or fifth. Oh, thought I hit team defense. All right. 24 filtered by. I don't know why it doesn't want to. Splits down. Yeah. I just had this up. I don't know why it doesn't want to do it now. Team offense. There we go. Okay, so team offense works. How about team defense? There we go. There we go. Okay. Philadelphia, obviously, we're number one. Tennessee is number two. Did not expect that. Because Tennessee is not a good team this year, but they have the number two defense. The Jets have had a good defense, man. They just got the offense can't get it together. Dolphins have had a pretty good defense, and Green Bay is ranked fifth. So allowing 314 yards a game. Philadelphia is only allowing 278.4. So uh, the Packers have a good defense. They are allowing 99.4 rush yards a game. Is that the number one rush defense in the league? Baltimore. Again, Baltimore. Baltimore was the number one rush defense in the league. We took it to them. Minnesota Vikings, we haven't played yet, but Minnesota Vikings is ranked 2 against the run. Broncos are ranked 3 against the run. Tampa Bay ranked 4. Detroit is ranked 5. Pittsburgh, Kansas City, Miami. Philadelphia is ranked 10th against the run. So not bad. But you're talking about the difference between 80 yards per game. Baltimore's allowing 80 yards, and we're allowing 104. So basically, not even a 25-yard difference. So we're getting it in, man. We're getting it in. Beat all odds fantasy. Lions moving like they got to be perfect. They not blinking. I don't expect them to blink, man. That's how they play ball. But you can blink or not blink, but them injuries going to end up costing you sooner or later. Sooner or later. If the Detroit Lions make it to the Super Bowl, this will be one of the best seasons I've ever seen in my life. With all of the injuries that they had, and to still have that next man up, and to have that next man up step up and play like their starters, that's incredible. And that is a huge medal of honor for Dan Campbell. That is incredible and impressive. You talking about the Super Bowl run he played once in the last 34 days because of his shoulder. He'll be okay. But I understand. Oh, yeah. I know he's going to play. I know he's going to be ready to go. But you're looking for people to be sharp. That's it in a nutshell. You're looking for people to be sharp. And I want him to get that work again tomorrow, Thursday. You know, he need to be throwing at least 40 to 45 times in practice. And we got to get some of that rhythm back, and we got to be ready to roll. Because of that, are we expecting a heavy dose of Saquon? Can we expect that? That's not out of the realm of possibility. But what kind of scares me is looking at what Tanner McKee did the other day. Is Kellen Moore going to be more apt to throw the ball? Because I tell you what I did like with Tanner McKee. I like the play action that we were running. I like the play action, and he was getting the ball to Dallas Goedert. That's exactly what we need. And we should be able to run that. I don't care if it's Jalen. I don't care if it's Tanner. I don't care who it is. If Jalen's under center, Tanner was under center a lot. Jalen can run under center and run that play action, or put him in pistol if you want to keep him deep. That's fine. But just keep the running back deep. Do not line them up too much in gun. I don't want to see too much in gun. Let's run downhill, man. Let's get Saquon going downhill all the way to New Orleans, man. All the way to New Orleans. Straight downhill. So, yeah, best defense since 91. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, we ran it 14 straight times and they couldn't stop us. You're exactly right. We wore them down. I like Jalen. My preferred formation for the Eagles is pistol because I know like they like to have Jalen deep, already 5 yards deep for the drop, but I still want Saquon to have the opportunity to go downhill. So I like pistol. I would love to see Ace, where Jalen's under center and Saquon is like 6 to 7 yards deep. I would love to see that, man. So mix it up, mix it up. But for me, the most important thing is getting Saquon deep, not out of gun, but out of pistol or out of ace, where he can go downhill. I do not. This run defense is good, and I do not want to go left and right. I do not want to have Saquon going east and west. We need to be going downhill, gaining ground. Because what's his name? I was watching film on him. Kobe Wooden. Kobe Wooden, number 96, defensive tackle / nose guard for the Packers is pretty damn good. Good hands, good quickness, big body. He's pretty damn good. Jurgens can handle him, but he's pretty quick off the snap. So we got to be able to handle that. However, we got Jeff Stoutland and Stoutland University. And he's known to handle his business, and he's known to have our boys ready. So that's just somebody we got to take notice of because he can do some damage. But I got full confidence that Beef Jurgens will take care of business. So it looks like big boy Mekhi Becton he's good to go. I'm not sure if he's getting that cast off his arm. Hasn't seemed to had any problem with it, but I would rather have it off. So and everybody else is good, man. Dickerson is good, Mailata is good, Lane Johnson is good. So we just got to get that offensive line going forward and just beat up the line of scrimmage, establish the line of scrimmage, and just run on them. Run it till they stop it. Dude, the mesh concept will always work. We just got to run it right. And it doesn't matter who's running it. Mesh concept and the play action is beautiful. And now with AJ and Devontae back, you gotta. The one thing I did notice, Green Bay likes to play a lot of single high safety, and what they do is who else? Who was that? Xavier McKinney. Xavier McKinney, number 29. What he does is, and this was on 1st and 10. They play single high. Xavier McKinney's about 8 yards off the ball, and then right before the snap, he's trying to anticipate the snap. Xavier McKinney bails and gets deep. So now they're not single high; they play in the 2 high shell. So that's just one of the things that they like to do, to try to confuse the defense. It looks like one thing, but when you snap the ball, it's another. So, and I'm positive that they have been looking at that on film. If I can watch it on my computer on NFL.pro, I know they've seen it in film room. So they'll be ready for it. But that's just one of the things they like to do. They like to bring the guys up and then drop both of them back or one of them back. But what they're trying to do is confuse you with the single high or maybe a 3 deep, or maybe they'll bring everybody up and then try to drop them all in the quarters or something like that. Just trying to confuse you so you don't know what's going on deep. However, you got to be careful when you do that, because if you come too far up to the line of scrimmage and you're trying to turn around and you don't time it right, whoever's at that slot, be it AJ or Devontae, is going to beat him. And that's a DB coming up, not a linebacker. So the DB has to recover. If he's got help over the top, that means that safety has to make a decision. That means somebody's got to be open somewhere. So that's the chess match that you play. You can come up and do that and try to confuse the offense, try to confuse Jalen Hurts on what he's seeing. But if somebody gets open, you might pay for it. So it's risk and reward. So we'll see what happens, man. That's just the stuff that I found on film. When it's fourth and short, they like to go 5-on-5 tackle to tackle. So that's a 5-on-5 matchup. I didn't really see them put 8 men in the box too much, but I'm going to keep watching because I want to see When I say 5 in the box, from tackle to tackle is 5-on-5. You got 4 down linemen and the Mike. He might slide over or he might be head up on the center, but it's 5-on-5. Then you got the edges way outside. So I don't count them as in the middle because they supporting the edge. They trying to set the edge. So I'm just talking about tackle to tackle on short yardage. So you know what we're going to do if we ever do the brotherly shove and stuff like that, everything changes. But if it's 3rd and short, 4th and short, look for that where they got from, tackle to tackle, they got 4 down and the linebacker's going to pick his spot. The few plays that I saw, he was in the middle, but I'm sure that is going to change. I'm sure that's going to change. Who else? I was looking at Quay Walker, number 7, Quay Walker, tends to over pursue. Not a lot, but there's a couple times he got himself out of position where they let him go in the backfield and he just totally overran the play. And I believe on that first play where I think it was Jahmyr Gibbs, I think he went like 40 or 50, got down to like 5-yard line off tackle. So there are some opportunities and some advantages that we can take advantage of, and we just gotta, like I said, I know Stalin gonna have them together. I know we're gonna have them together, man. What's up, Lil G? Lil G is always in the building. Big fan of the Eagles. Eagles kick Green Bay Packers. Today is my grandfather's birthday. Happy birthday, Pop Pop. Do you think Philly will aim to throw the underneath and get yardage through YAC? I hope so. And I'm looking at it from the standpoint of Dallas Goedert will be available. And anytime you got an opportunity to get the ball in the hands of Saquon Barkley, if it's from a check down, it's from a check down. I don't care. If you get the ball in his hands and he's got at least 3 to 4 yards of space between him and the guy in front of him, he can make somebody miss. That's what I want. And the one thing that I saw, and I guarantee you they went over this in film study, Tanner McKee got the ball out of his hands under 3 seconds almost all game. Rarely did he. I know he scrambled a couple times. I think Tanner McKee only had 2 bad throws during that game. He was getting the ball out of his hands quick. There's no reason why we can't keep that going. Quick plays, quick slants, quick hits, everything. We can keep that going. McKinney has 3 career picks off Hurts. Yeah, you got to play clean, man. That's anybody. We in the playoffs now, so the margin for error is about yay big. We got to have it together, man. We got to have it together, man. We about 20 deep in the stream, man. So if you haven't hit that like button, hit the like button. I appreciate you. Who else? Big fan, and I hope you see this and go Birds. Philly Eagles fan 69. I appreciate you, brother. And I see it. Jair Alexander being out puts even more pressure on the Green Bay. Yes, that's the other guy I couldn't think of. Jair Alexander, Christian Watson, and Carlos, did you hear anything about Jordan Love? I know his hand got banged up. I don't know the extent of it, but that kind of stuff adds up. Because if I see that and I'm in Eagles film room, I'm telling everybody, you go after that hand. You slap at that hand. So you do what you got to do. Let me see. What else did I get from my notes? Quay Walker. Blah, 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 blah. Talked about Kobe Wooden. So yeah, outside. I mean, everybody's getting. I mean, I've been talking about this ad nauseum. Get Saquon outside, please. And I know it's a package. I just don't like when we're on the goal line, they take Saquon out of the game. Because I know they got Kenny Gainwell in there, but I can't complain about that because Kenny Gainwell is a really good pass blocker. Kenny Gainwell is a better blitz pickup guy than Saquon is. And Saquon's a bigger back. But Kenny Gainwell is going to win the battle of physics. If somebody's shooting that gap, he can get underneath them pads and stop that momentum. So Kenny Gainwell, for the most part this season, and Saquon hasn't been bad. but Kenny Gainwell's been that much better when it comes to blitz pickup. So I understand that logic. I just hate that the best player on the field is on the bench. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't want him to pass block, put him in the pass pattern. So figure out a way to do it, man. Figure out a way to do it. That's a captain obvious right there. Gotta continue with no turnovers. No turnovers. And not a lot of people talking about this, man. Our special teams have got to be better. Our special teams has been mid all season. We have got to get we offense, defense, and special teams. You got to be 3 for 3. We lose that Super Bowl because of that stupid ass punt return. They don't get that punt return. They don't score. We win that game. So we got to take advantage of stuff like that, man. So whoever's going to be kicking off, we can't have that nonsense like we had the other day. Get the ball in the end zone. And let's just keep it moving. Carlos says, other than the backward jump, my favorite Saquon run was the first run in the second half versus the Rams. Yes, when he took off on them, untouched. Running back Nirvana. I agree. Think the goal line plays are determined by analytics for the most part. Yeah, but that's no big deal because, I mean, everything is based on analytics. When you look at your play sheet, basically that big play sheet and the colors that you see sometimes, the colors let them know, like, hey, they're going to be in this defense because when you are on the 5-yard line or closer, they run this defense 57% of the time. So it's all analytics based on film study. So analytics has become kind of a ubiquitous term, but teams have been using analytics for decades. The difference is that now the analytics are performed on computer. That's the difference, but it's still the same stuff. And the computer can go a little bit deeper, but teams have been using analytics for years. The only difference is that the coaches have been doing the heavy lifting. They've been doing the research and the homework. So that's nothing new. But to your point, Pat, yes, the analytics come into play. They got their play sheet and they watched 8 million games. They hire people now to watch film. So when they got their booklet, they got booklets or it's on their iPad, they can say, hey, this team, if you are on the 30-yard line or further out, and it's 2nd and 7, they ran this defense 38% of the time. And in that 38%, they blitzed only 4%. So they break it down in so many steps so they can pull every little piece of information that they can. You know what I mean? So if you're on the 30-yard line going in and it's 2nd and 7, they run this defense 38% of the time. But when you see this particular player come on the field, that means they're running this defense and they run it 60% of the time when that player's on the field. So there's different things like that, different tells that everybody's trying to get a handle on. And it's all analytics. It's all film study and analytics. And like I said, now you just got an iPad that keeps track of all of that stuff. So I know there's software out there that for years you just keep adding the data and you add the data. And usually the only thing changes is you put all of that data together. And then do you associate the data with the team or with the coach? The software can do that too. So that ain't nothing new, man. That ain't nothing new. And it's smart, to be honest with you. More about special teams. Brett Eclipse. I trust Braden Mann a lot more than Sippos or whatever that dude's name was. Jake Elliott, I believe, has never missed in the playoffs. That's got to continue. Yes. I agree. Let's just hope it doesn't come down to that. Let's make sure we don't come down to that. I got confidence in Jake Elliott too, but that's not where you want to put the game. Let's close out the game so we don't need a last second or a Hail Mary or something. Nah, let's just close it out. Handle business. Run it till they stop it, and just put them out of their misery early. So yeah, man. 60-40. Jalen doesn't need to throw no more than 25 times a game. Yeah, I agree. I agree. He can, but I don't like. I'll go with the flow of the game. I'll tell you this: I did not expect to see Tanner McKee throw 42 times. That's the type of stuff that scares me, because to me, Kellen Moore, they kind of get it in their head like, yeah, see, we can throw, we can go up top on you, and they want to do that. And every time you do that, that's when Saquon end up getting 10 and 15 carries a game. Saquon need to have 20 to 25 touches per game. He should run the ball at least 20 times a game. The only time he runs the ball less than 15 times a game is when it done already busted for 130 or something like that. But in my opinion, a back like Saquon should touch the ball at least 20 times a game on rushes. Not to mention screens and dump passes and checkdowns. Get the hands in your playmaker and let him make plays. That's what he get paid to do. What are you saying, Carlos? Jersey in the back is my favorite color combo. Eagles jersey. Can't wait till they bring them back out. But I'll probably get another Jerome Bettis or Reggie White with the 99 patch on. Jerome Bettis. Are you a Steelers fan too? Vikings go 14-3 and have to play a wild card game is horrible. If you win the division, shouldn't mean you get a top 4 spot. Yeah, a lot of people been saying that, but this ain't nothing new. How many times in the past have we had this many teams get 13 and 14 wins? It hasn't happened a lot. Hasn't happened out often. So I know a lot of people are kind of bitching about it, but things like that happens every now and then. I don't think they should change the rule. Just keep it the way it's going, because, mess around next year and then everybody's going to have 10 and 11 wins. So it's one of those things. Every now and then it's going to happen like that. So regardless of how it plays out, somebody's going to be pissed off. I know we shouldn't look ahead, so don't. But if we make it through the week, who would you rather throw hands with in the division? I don't care. I really don't. That's how I look at it. You attack everybody. I mean, if we'll end up with it'll either be Washington or let me see. I just had a graphic up for this. NFL playoff. Here we go. All right, so we got Green Bay, and then Washington plays Tampa Bay. I'm thinking Tampa Bay is going to beat Washington, right? Tampa Bay is going to beat Washington, so that means we will play Tampa Bay. And we should be third time's a charm with Tampa Bay, man. We're not going to get run through like the last time we played. That can't happen. So I think Minnesota beats LA, and then Minnesota's going to take on Detroit again. And I'll say it again, man. Minnesota was in that game. That game was not a blowout until like midway through the third. Minnesota they left 28 points on the field, man. 28 points. They could not get in the end zone, and they were like inside the 10-yard line like 4 times. They were deep in the red zone, man, and they could not convert for whatever reason. It was like Murphy's Law, man. They just could not get it done. So, but like I said, none of the teams scare me, because we got the number 1 running back and we got the number 1 defense in the NFC, and that should count for something. And not like Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, uh, AJ Brown, Saquon Barkley, and Jalen Hurts are chopped liver. You know what I'm saying? We got a damn Tiamat back there. We got like a 5-headed dragon, man, on offense. The problem is we ain't had nobody healthy. AJ Brown missed games, then Devontae missed a couple games, and Dallas has been out. So now the gang's back together. The gang's back together, man. So now now we got to put it together. Man, the chat is hot today. Make sure y'all hit subscribe and click on that like button, man. Hit subscribe and click on that like button. Do I need to say it again? Hit subscribe and click on that like button. Rams. Oh, yeah, we just talked about that. I'd be surprised if the Rams beat the Vikings, because the Vikings got a pretty good defense, and they're gonna be itching to make up for what just happened in Detroit. So lower seed plays Detroit. Yep. So, one of them two. We'll see what happens. Darnold is just one of those QBs. When it's time to shine under the lights, he reverts back to a backup. That is not the first time that I've heard that. That is not the first time I've heard that. So, but listen, man, that's why you play the game, bro. That's why you play the game. So I love the playoffs, because regardless of what happened during the season, everybody starts in the same place. Even Detroit, they start in the same place. They get the bye week. Okay. Some people don't like bye weeks. You lose momentum. And, for the same reason that everybody's worried about Jalen Hurts getting rusty. He hasn't played in 3 weeks. And when you're in the playoffs, man, the bye week is really not going to help Detroit the way their injuries are going. They got people with, torn ACLs, and the week off ain't going to help. It is what it is for them. So everybody's in the same spot. So anything can happen. I'll always bring up when the 49ers won the Super Bowl and Dre Greenlaw tore his Achilles walking on the field. Walking on the field, he tears his Achilles. He pops his Achilles. Every team is one play away from glory or ruin. If Jalen Hurts does not get that concussion in the Washington game, if Jalen Hurts decides to slide on that scramble, he stays in the game. Washington can't stop us because Jalen Hurts is a threat to run. And because of that, Saquon Barkley gets about 170 yards to 200 yards rushing. And because of that, the record would have been broken, and he never would have even needed to play a 17th game. It would have been broken in 15, possibly 16. Woulda, coulda, shoulda, don't do nothing but rhyme. One play away from glory or ruin. That one play changes the whole trajectory of what we do the last 3-4 games. Saquon Barkley stays in that Giants game way back when. And let's say he goes for 225. He doesn't need to play in game 17. You see what I'm saying? You go back and you look at every little play, and everything matters, man. Everything adds up. So you can't take time off. Get it when you can get it, because you never know when they're going to take the plate away from you. Yeah, man. We done had a lot of people miss time, but we got the gang back together. We putting the band back together, man. So I'm digging that. I think Bryce Huff is going to play this week. Was I wrong? Or I thought Vic Fangio said he's probably going to play this week. But Jalen Hunt has been playing well. So I don't know how many snaps he's going to get, but I think he's going to play. I've never been as confident in any Eagles team since we had T.O., but I just understand. Yeah, man, one game at a time, man. One game at a time. My logic is all I need you to do is win today. Don't worry about nothing else. Win today. I used to tell my kids when I would coach, all I need you to do is win this play. That's it. Don't worry about nothing else. I need you to succeed this play. Then you got to do it again. That's the mindset you got to take. It's not, we got to get through the first quarter. We got to get through the first half. We got to get through the second half. I got to win this play. Every game is a season, and every play, you never know when your opportunity is going to come. Look at, I think it was the Giants game where Nolan Smith had the batted ball hit him right in the chest, and he couldn't come up with the interception. He would have had a pick six. Opportunities. Sidney Brown finally took advantage and got the pick. I was hoping Quinyon would get one, but wasn't meant to be. So we just got to take advantage of the opportunities when we get them. How many times have we seen? I joked with N'Kobe Dean about this. Week 1, the Green Bay game, when he dropped that pick, and he would have had a surefire pick six. I always get nervous when we're on defense and we drop an interception or we don't recover a fumble, because that's an opportunity. And it seems like the very next possession and their very next play, something bad happens. They score or something like that when we could have got off the field or got the ball back. It's just like that game against Washington. And Devontae drops that ball. It's like we don't get an opportunity to make good. And it cost us. And I don't want to have those opportunities again. You got to take those possibilities off the board. And the only way you can do it is if you're on defense and you get a ball in your hands, you got to get that pick. If the ball's on the ground, you got to recover that fumble. You got to do it, because you never know what's going to happen if you get one more play. Just imagine in that Washington game, if they don't get one more play, that one extra play is what Jay Daniels needed to score. What happens if they don't get that play? So you got to take advantage of every opportunity you get, every turnover. You can't miss tackles, all of that type of stuff. You got to take advantage of it, handle your business, win and where you have to. Yeah, but Bryce Huff is a good backup, though. Yes, he should be starting because he's a salary starter. Like, when you're paying somebody that much money, they are going to play. But he started coming on and really getting into his own, and it's very similar to what they did with Hassan Reddick. They were trying to put a square peg in a round hole, and then when they stopped doing that and put the square peg in the square hole, it started paying dividends, and that's what they did with Bryce Huff. And once they made him a pass rusher only, started paying dividends. You know what? There are people in the league that they don't play the run so well. And you can't force him to do it. His claim to fame is rushing the passer. Let him rush the passer. You got one job, bro. Let him do it. What would you do to get away from football when you played? When I was with the Eagles, at the time I was living here in South Jersey. I lived up at Ramblewood, in the apartments at Ramblewood, and me and Willie T was one of my best friends to this day. Me and Willie T would play golf like twice a day, 3 times a week. Ramblewood would let us play for free. My apartment was right off the 18th hole of the blue tees. So we would tee off at like 7 in the morning. We get done the first round at like 10. And then we would tee off. We would walk to the 18th hole, right? Order a pizza as we are teeing off. Play the hole, and we would take the golf carts to my apartment because my apartment literally was off the fairway of the 18th green. So we would putt in, take the golf carts, park them in front of my apartment. The pizza guy would come. We order pizza, whatever. We'd be upstairs playing Madden, you know, and then we go back out and play 18 more because it would be, we start at 7, sometimes 6, and it wouldn't even be 11 o'clock yet. And then we go out like 11, 11:30 and play 18 more. We was doing that 2 or 3 times a week. That's what I did. I've always been a gamer. And we used to play golf incessantly. So 313, why you hating, dog? Stop hating. Yeah. I like to make it a little bit more simpler than that. Philly man. The team that makes the least amount of mistakes usually is the one that wins. It's that simple. Turnovers are mistakes. Holding and shooting yourself in the foot with stupid penalties, that's a mistake. So the team that makes the least amount of mistakes is usually the team that wins. I wish we could have kept Reddick too, because I'm big on keep your homeboys at home. He's a local kid from South Jersey. I feel the same way about Joey Burrow. I'm from Cincinnati. Joe Burrow is from Cincinnati. He's a local kid. Find a way to keep him at home. Get that boy some help. So I really wish Hassan Reddick could have stayed, but in the big scheme of things, Howie did what he had to do. He wasn't wrong. Yes, I would love to have seen Hassan Reddick in this defense with Vic Fangio, but Howie made the right move. Hassan Reddick is aloof, hasn't really played much for the Jets. He held out for whatever reason. And you got what you got. And we got what we got. Nolan Smith stepped up. So there was no missing Hassan Reddick. And I thought that was going to be a real issue. Nolan Smith has stepped up. Josh Sweat has stepped up. Milt Williams has stepped up. Ajomo has stepped up. Jalen Carter, good Lord. We knew he was going to be good, but did anybody think he was going to be this good? We knew Quinyon Mitchell was good. Did anybody think he was going to be this good? Cooper DeJean, did anybody think he was going to be this good, this quick? We knew we were going to be good, but we didn't think we were going to see it this quick. There was a ton of people down on Nolan Smith in preseason, in camp. Ton of people. I like Nolan Smith, but my thing was I thought he was a little bit too small. He got in the weight room, bulked up a little bit, kept his speed intact, and now it's paying dividends. And because of Jalen Carter in the middle, if you watch Jalen Carter, every game he gets double teamed. Every game. If you're double teaming Jalen Carter, somebody on the defensive line is going to eat. Because you're paying too much attention to him. So that means somebody's got to come free. So there's a cost involved. You going to try to take care of Jalen Carter, or you going to turn somebody else free? If you're going to double team him and you still got everybody blocking, that means you giving up something somewhere on the line of scrimmage. That's why Milt Williams is eating. That's why Josh Sweat is eating. That's why Nolan Smith is eating. Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis is not going to get sacks. Jordan Davis is there to clog up the middle and bring special double teams. Because he's hard to stop. He's hard to move. So sometimes you don't have to make a play to make a play. You just got to get the attention. You got to be the decoy. You got to be the focus. And with Jalen Carter, even when he's getting double teamed, he's still making things happen. You see what happened? Pro Bowl. So it's working. We're winning the line of scrimmage. That's where the games are won and lost. Line of scrimmage. You establish that line of scrimmage on defense, they can't run on you. You put pressure on the quarterback. Got to get rid of the ball too quick before he's ready. Things like that mess up the flow of the offense. And eventually, somebody going to make a mistake. Line of scrimmage is where it happens. Playing Madden. And oh yeah. I was there on the man. I remember them football games on NES, dude. I can't go down that rabbit hole, dude. Can't go down that rabbit hole right now. I won't shut up. But yeah, man, me and Willie T used to Sega. Willie T hooked me up with his friend. That was my first big money I spent when I made the team in '93. The first I spent now mind you, this is 1993, and I spent $3,000 on a computer. If you add for inflation these days, that would have been like a $6,000-7,000 system in today's era. Because I'm a nerd, man. I've always been into that stuff. Which music talent is Jahmyr Gibbs. Jahmyr Gibbs is tight though, man. But man, you can't say that about Saquon, bro. What's your take on Jalen Hunt? Does he have the ability to develop into a serviceable edge? Absolutely. Jalen Hunt has been balling, dude. Jalen Hunt reminds me of Zach Bond. When Zach Bond was in New Orleans, if you go back and watch, me and Tone talked about this during training camp. Every time I saw Zach Bond for New Orleans, he didn't get a lot of snaps. But when I pulled up his film and watched film on him, every time he was on the field, he made something happen. Tackle, pressure, tackle for loss, whatever it was, he made something happen. You knew he was on the field. That's what Jalen Hunt is doing. He ain't going to make every play, and that's okay. He a rook. But you know he was on the field. And he's not going to do anything but get better and better and better the more snaps he gets. And right now, he's in there more than Bryce Huff is. Now, obviously, it's because of injury. But again, he's making the most of his opportunities. That's all you can ask for. And again, on the defensive line, the one person that people don't talk about enough is Ojomo. And that's because Milt Williams has been balling. But I don't think Milt Williams is going to stick around because Milt Williams is about to get a payday. So Ojomo is going to be the next man up. But everybody on that defensive line is balling. And there's no way you could have told me that was going to happen with Fletch leaving, Hassan Reddick leaving, and the way things went last year. Nobody saw that coming. Shout out to Vic Fangio. Shout out to Clint Hurt. Getting them big boys together. Tim Warwick. Go Eagles. Go Birds. The only thing that scares me about Jalen Carter is he's got that thin line, man. He can go from 0 to 100 real quick, and he's got that Derek Barnett syndrome with the dumb penalties. Like he likes to flop and do the jaw jacking and try to get into people's heads, and you can set yourself up for failure with that because it's not always going to go your way. Look at what happened to C.J. Gardner-Johnson a couple weeks ago. And finally, he got it through his head that, you know what? I got to tone that down because it's not doing my team any good losing the game. He was wrecked after that game when he got thrown out. Because he believes if he doesn't get thrown out, we don't lose. So, again, you take that possibility off the table. And then what does he do? Comes back next week, gets 2 picks. You got to make the most of those opportunities. I don't want to see Sidney Brown get thrown out of another game. I don't want to see it. I want to see him on the field. And you got to be able to temper yourself and be disciplined. That when you hear that word discipline, that's what that means, man. Don't get caught in the stupid stuff. Don't cost your team. That's in a nutshell. Don't do nothing stupid to cost your team. Howie pretty much hit on every pick in the draft except Smith, the wide receiver from Texas. A&M. That remains to be seen because what are you gonna do with with AJ and Devontae. So that remains to be seen. I like Smith. I like Wilson. Um, and again, I say this a lot, man. You can't take these rookies and just expect them to be automatically good when they're not getting reps in practice. Most of them are repping scout team. You're just not going to step in and just take the game over. You got to get comfortable with what you're doing. So a lot of times it might be year 2 or year 3. Everybody ain't going to be a Malik Neighbors or Coleman like in Buffalo. Not going to happen a lot. Sometimes you got to give them time. I agree. Ajomo would be Carter's opposite. Yeah. Ajomo's a beast, man. He's a beast. I think Derek Barnett was worse. I ain't seen anybody mouth on the sideline. It's always him talking. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a valid point. That's a valid point. But a lot of people wanted to put Derek Barnett in that bust category, and he was far from it. He was far from it. Derek Barnett makes the play of the Super Bowl. It was Derek Barnett with the strip sack. So Derek Barnett has had some very high highlights. Now you got to juxtapose that with the jumping off sides and stuff like that. But there's a lot of people that do that. And unfortunately for him, he just did it at a bad time. And then, of course, you get the Sirianni reaction that went viral. But if you look at the macro, Derek Barnett was a good player for the Eagles. Don't get it twisted. Yeah. Was it the fumble? I thought he had a sack. Oh, was that BG with the sack and he got the recovery? I think you're right. My bad. I have my eye on Landon Jackson from Arkansas, defensive end, 6'7", 280. Might have to move up for him. But at this point, man, here's what I say about the draft. Number one, I'm not even looking at it yet. It's too soon. Let me get through the playoffs first. Secondly, I trust Howie implicitly. Howie Roseman is the Wizard of Philadelphia. He can do no wrong in my eyes. And he has proven year after year after year after year after year that he knows what he's doing in the draft. So you know what? If he thinks we need Landon Jackson, the 6'7" DN from Arkansas, so be it. But I'm going to let Howie make that call. Because when I tell you this Joker is been batting like 800, leave him alone. Let him do what he do. Should us Eagles fans root for Washington against Tampa Bay? If they win, there's a great chance they will face Detroit in the divisional. I don't care, man. At this point, we in the playoffs, bro. Everybody's good. Everybody's good in the playoffs. So it is what it is. I can't. Yes, it's kind of from me being a former player. I don't look at it like that. I look at it like who's the next opposition? Who do we have to get through? You want to be the best, you got to beat the best. Period. So I don't care if it's Washington. I don't care if it's Tampa Bay. They got to come to us. So they got to deal with us. We ain't playing them. They got to come here in Philly at the link and deal with us. Period. And it hasn't been a team that come through here or we haven't gone to see that we couldn't handle. Tampa Bay, I want revenge on. But if they don't get it done, then we'll deal with Washington. Tampa Bay is the only team that has beaten us. All of our other losses, we beat ourselves. And I'm saying all of the other ones, we only lost 2 other times. Think about that. Atlanta, drop pass. Washington, drop pass. We should be 16-1. 16-1. We lost 2 games because of a drop friggin' pass. So don't tell me these teams want to come in here and deal with us. They don't want to mess with us. And now we got everybody healthy. This is a like my boy Tone say, this is a buzzsaw coming through Philly. You come to South Philly if you want to. We got something for that ass. Not trying to look forward, but I saw. I'm not worried about next season. We got 4 more weeks of football we got to deal with. If Hurts didn't get a concussion, we would have won even without a drop pass. I believe that, man, and I believe that Saquon would have had a hell of a game. Saquon had 100 yards in the first quarter. He was trending for at least 200, and in the second half, they stacked the box because they knew Kenny Pickett wasn't going to run, so they had us. And we wasn't doing any play action. They stopped they stacked the box and was like, Kenny, you beat us in the air if you want to. And they played it right. Props to them for doing that. And even with that, they still shouldn't have won. Devontae Smith drops that pass. They still should not have won that game. They got lucky. Yeah, we had no AJ versus them in the playoffs. No AJ, no Devontae, no Becton. So, it is what it is. Tampa Bay, we'll see. But, they've kind of had our number. So we got to get over that hump. So, but that's, valid point. Valid point. Red Clip says the same thing. We were down a lot of people, but hey, man, we still had opportunities in that game. We should have had a touchdown first play of the game. Jalen misses the pass. So, Gonzo, I want to see more play action with Jalen back there, man. We need it. We need it. We either got to go heavy play action or we got to go tempo right off the bat. We got to get Jalen we got to get him, got to get that blood flowing super quick. Super quick. If we're going to lose, it better be to Detroit. I don't want to lose to nobody, bro. Nobody. But I like Dan Campbell, man. I ain't gonna lie. I like him as a he's a player's coach for real. He is like how Sirianni is a player's coach. He's the same way, but he has that little extra because he was a actual player. So he can empathize a lot better than Sirianni can. What are you talking about, dude? We 14-3, bro. You still bitching? Come on, son. We 14-3. Eagles will not play Washington if they win. Remember, the lowest Eagles of Detroit. Oh, you're right. My bad. So that means Washington or Tampa Bay plays Detroit. That's well, no. Based on this, that's not. We play the winner of Washington Tampa Bay. Based on this. Yeah. See it right here. So we we play the winner of Washington Tampa Bay. So we go right there, and then Detroit plays the winner of Minnesota and LA. So yeah, we will play Washington or Tampa Bay. Nick had screw ups earlier, but yeah. You can't listen, man. You can not like Nick Sirianni. Well, what you can't do is argue with his results. Those days are done. people bitching because he's jaw jacking with crowds and doing some of the stuff that nobody likes. If it was a coach that you liked, you wouldn't have a problem with it. But everybody jumped on the bandwagon, him being the CEO coach, because they thought he should have been fired last year. I didn't think he was going to get fired last year, but if he would have been, I would have understood. But the dude's been in the playoffs the first 3 years of his career. Now the fourth year. He's 4 straight years he's been to the playoffs. Every coach since he's been in the league, he's got the best winning percentage. So he didn't just luck into that, especially with last year's defense. So that's got to account for something. And people so quick to throw folks under the bus because of what you heard on Sports Talk Radio. And at the end of the day, them jokers is guessing too. They don't know everything. Yeah, that's true. But we got to get that together, man. That was a long time ago, and we are better since then. Much better. Let me see. Would love to get Tampa Bay back. Yeah, a lot of people want to get Tampa Bay back. But like I said, it don't matter, man. If we get the easiest route, great. That's what I want to see. Nah, dude. I disagree, bro. Like, you can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways. And what I mean by that is, um, even going back to when we lost to Atlanta, he got beat up because he threw the ball instead of running the ball to run out the clock. Even though he had the right play called and Saquon just didn't catch it. And then you had a couple times like the game against New Orleans, the Tampa Bay game, um, the games where he had the most criticism. Some of it was valid. Some of it was valid. Here's the problem. If it was valid, that means it's got to be valid when he wins too. You can't have it just, it can't just work when you want to criticize him. That means you got to give him his flowers. You got to give him his praise too. So his criticisms are valid and just. But you got to give him credit for them dubs too. Period. You don't win in spite of your coach. That only goes so far. When Jeff Saturday came out the booth and started coaching for the Colts, they were winning in spite of him because he shouldn't have been there. But eventually it caught up with him. So I don't play it like that, dude. You got to give Nick his props. I don't care if you like him or not. Again, you can't disrespect what he's done in the league because that same amount of time, all of these great coaches that everybody says are great coaches haven't won that much. And there's a lot of other coaches that are a hell of a lot better than Nick Sirianni that ain't even sniffed the Super Bowl. And Nick got an opportunity to go to his second in 4 years. So you got to give him props. Dude, we just went 14-3, bro, and we should have been 16-1. Like, I'm not just glossing over that because you don't like Nick and you think he's not everybody was laughing because he wanted to be CEO. Well, what is he going to do? What? I'm like, you look at all of these coaches that don't coach defense, don't coach offense. They're just a coach. They are managing personalities and talent. That's what they're doing. And that is not an easy job. Everybody wants their coach to be a former defensive coordinator or offensive coordinator. But the one thing, and I use him as an example, you look at Shanahan out in San Francisco. He is the guru. He's got the pedigree. He's a legacy. He's been in the league for a million years. Everybody knows who he is. Everybody knows he's one of the best coaches, and he's got been studying under his dad and all of that type of stuff. He can't get it done. And Nick Sirianni's got a better record than he does. So we gonna stop with the Sirianni slander, man. You can't do it. Every time I say Sirianni, my iPad wakes up because Siri thinks I'm talking to her. It's crazy how Dan Campbell does the same thing Nick does, but one is unreliable, other has brass balls. Exactly. Now Dan Campbell is taking a little heat for some of the plays that he's and the gambling that he's done, but you're exactly right. If Nick Sirianni would have been in the playoffs and went for it on fourth down and didn't make it, he would have got eviscerated. Dan Campbell didn't do that. He stuck to his guns, and that's what he did all season. And so I agree with you 100%, bro. Best record since he came in the NFL. Y'all better recognize. He led the worst Eagles meltdown. Yeah, he did. And now we 14-3. So now we went from worst to first. Like, again, what do you want? So, okay, so he had the meltdown. Does that get offset that from the fact that he went to the Super Bowl? Can you count that? Can you count he got Jalen Hurts to get to the playoffs his first year as a starter? Does that count? His first year as a head coach? Does that count too? His second year as a head coach, he went to the Super Bowl? You about to stop playing, man. Stop messing around. Marv Levy's in the Hall of Fame. He went to the Super Bowl 4 times in a row. That didn't win it. So, man, stop the Sirianni slander, man. People want to hate him because they want to hate him. Exactly, bro. Exactly. Say that again, but louder. No such thing, bro. Mid coach on a loaded team because of a GM. Stop it. If it was a mid coach on a loaded team and he's not calling plays, but he gets all the credit if we lose, but he gets none of it if we win. Stop it. You can't have it both ways, man. Y'all tripping. Dude, how many coaches is it like that? There's a ton of coaches the same way. San Francisco ain't been the same. Your boy went to the Texans. So D'Amico Ryans. So you can say that about every team. But just like we were saying earlier, man, you say that, he's good if you like him. If he's not, he's clueless. He's winning just because he got a loaded team. No, man, don't believe that bullshit. Because if that was the case, there would be a lot more teams winning and a lot more coaches successful. It's a lot harder than you think. Don't get caught up in what you hear on sports talk radio because they don't like them and they rip them 24/7 and you start drinking the Kool-Aid. That's why fucking Dallas is all jacked up. They started drinking that Kool-Aid and believing their own hype. And they talked about it too much instead of going out on the field and playing. So, man. Y'all tripping. Y'all better leave Sirianni alone and be happy he for this team. You know what? I see that, ball, but they said the same thing about Harbaugh. A lot of people didn't like Harbaugh when he first got in the league. Chip Kelly, Urban Meyer. A lot of people didn't like Pete Carroll. You're not just going to come from USC. There's some things you can do in college that you can't do in the pros. All of that stuff, man. People going to like who they like, and they're going to hate who they hate. The problem is, are your reasons for hating on folks valid? And in most situations, they are not. It is because of a bias or you don't like him because of. It's got nothing to do with his performance. You just don't like him. Again, if you going to rip him and you got valid reasons, all for it. But when he comes back and he gets the wins, he keeps stacking them wins, you got to give him credit. I don't care what anybody say. Because ain't any old coach ain't gonna come in here and rattle off 14 wins. And ain't too many people gonna do that. So, opinions are like assholes, man. Everybody got one. But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Everybody gonna find something wrong with them. Period. They're gonna find something wrong with them. So, and they'll keep searching for it, keep moving the goalposts, and all that type of stuff. It ain't like he been to the Super Bowl. My bad, he has been. Now the situation that happened last year, he the coach. You got to give him that heat. Matt Patricia was a walking disaster. He never should have hired him. He should have let Sean Desai do his thing. But something was going on there, and we don't know what the situation was, but something was going on. And because they pulled the rug from underneath him. Same thing with Brian Johnson. So, but all of that is valid. Those criticisms are valid. So if you're going to give him that, you got to give him this. You got to give him the 14-3. He's responsible for that. He's responsible for keeping his team together when everybody thought, because of what Brandon Graham was going through and saying on WIP, everybody thought the walls was imploding. Somebody got to keep them together, because I guarantee you, if they would have lost the team, they would have blamed it on Sirianni. You know what, Bob? We're going to hear about that like 20 years from now on an HBO 30 for 30 or something like that. ESPN 30 for 30. We're going to really find out what happened in the locker room at the end of last year. So something must have happened. There was no reason to bring Matt Patricia in here. That made no sense whatsoever. And the Brian Johnson thing, I think the Brian Johnson thing was Nick Sirianni trying to run his offense, and Brian Johnson looking like, I don't want to run this shit. There's some things that I want to do, but Sirianni was the boss, and he was trying to, keep them together. So I'd be curious to see what Brian Johnson would do if he gets a chance to run the offense that he wanted to run. And I think that is the reason why Sirianni and Jalen Hurts were not on the same page for a minute. Brian Johnson is a family friend of Jalen Hurts. Mentor. So that was personal. And you just threw him under the bus. What's up? What's up, big dog? What's up, bro, guy? Appreciate you, brother. As usual, man. About to be a book written. Nick crashed a car last year. Dude, I'm not gonna argue with you. You're absolutely right. Well, they fired Patricia too, so but they should have like a lot of people didn't think Sean Desai should have got the job. It should have went to, what's the guy's name? He's with Baltimore now. He was our defensive backs coach. He should have been the one to get the DC. But they went in a different direction. That's the way it goes. That's the way the game goes. That's the way the game goes. So, bro, Claude, are you going live tonight? Let me know. Or are you gonna be on KSAP tonight? If he's going live, let me know in the chat. Corey, I would love to see that. I would love to see a heavy dose of Saquon and Kenny Gainwell. But you got to remember, Green Bay has got a good run defense. So we gotta try to wear them down. but we have got to utilize play action pass. We've got to do that, and we got to hit. I need to see AJ Brown on the slants. I need to see that. That is a done deal. AJ Brown is guaranteed to break at least 2 tackles on a quick slant. He is the king of YAC yards after he gets the ball in his hands. So we got to take advantage of that. So I'm looking. I want to see some play action, man. I want to see some play action. Appreciate you, Internet Wizard Society. So yeah, man, we gotta. I'm not worried about Green Bay. We just gotta handle business, take care of the line of scrimmage, and do what we do best. Get the ball in the hands of your playmakers and let them make plays. That's what you got to do. We can't have a situation where at the end of the first quarter, Saquon Barkley's only touched the ball twice. Can't be that. We know where the bread is buttered. Stop playing. There is no secret who's going to get the ball. Just give him the ball. And for goodness sake, please get him outside. Pitch the ball to Saquon Barkley a couple times. Loosen up that defense, then come back up the middle. Put some counter plays in there so we can take that step to the right and dig it right off of Jurgen's butt. We have to get the linebackers to flow east and west. That opens everything up, man. That opens everything up. Get Jahan Dotson involved. Get him involved. I ain't mad at you. So I've been saying that all season. 90% of the games we use none in the middle of the field. We've been better at that this year. But that goes hand in hand with Saquon. If you run good play action, linebackers have to respect him. So the linebackers have to come up, right? If they come up and we got 2 on the outside, our X and our Z on the outside, if they are 10 to 15 deep, that means the safety's got to stay back because they got to protect. So that leaves that zone behind the linebackers is wide open. That's where we can take advantage of that. Play action is key in the playoffs. Play action is going to be key. So we gotta make it happen. Dude, Jahmyr Gibbs was running off tackle. And it's just like stretch the defense out. And if everybody gets their block, you stay on course and you just blast through the hole. If not, you got room for the cutback because everybody's over pursuing. That is the beauty of the zone reads and running off tackle. That's the beauty of it right there. I think I tweeted about that. I think I put a post during the game because I heard Chris Collinsworth make a comment about that. Let me see if I still got it. All my anime fans, if you know, you know. Let me see. Yeah. I hope Kellen Moore heard Collinsworth say everybody loves the outside zone. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Run Saquon on the outside zone. Let him pick and choose what hole he wants to hit and just let him get there, man. Like I've been saying about chasing Terrell Davis. Only 2,000-yard rusher with a Super Bowl ring. That's who you chasing. But if you go back and you watch the Denver Broncos when Terrell Davis was doing his thing, zone reads all day, you can't stop it. You just get him the ball as deep as you can, and everybody just blocks the zone, and it's up to Terrell Davis to pick where he wants to go. There's no hole. There's no, when I came up, it was 2-4-6, 1-3-5, 18, 16, 26, 36, all those different plays. There's no play. There's no set course of action. All you do is you're running to your right, and your quarterback's job is to get you the ball as deep as humanly possible. And that gives you 5 yards to make a decision on which way you want to go. That's what a zone read does. It stretches the defense out. It makes the blocks easier for the offensive lineman, and your running back can pick and choose where he wants to go. Very, very difficult to stop, especially when you got somebody like Terrell Davis, especially when you got somebody like Jahmyr Gibbs, especially when you got somebody like Saquon Barkley or Derrick Henry. Very difficult to stop. But for some reason, we don't run it. We want to run everything out of gun formation. Drives me nuts. Drives me nuts. So, but all right, man, we gonna get up out of here, man. We had a nice discussion today, man. We had about 30 live. Everybody hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, click that thumbs up, man. We had a good day today. I appreciate that. We're gonna have some more tomorrow. We're gonna keep it going as we get one step closer to our first playoff game. I will be watching some more film tomorrow because that's all it's about, man. Trying to figure something out. So I'm gonna go back and watch. I'll be watching film of Green Bay. I want to see running backs against Green Bay's defense because there's a game. The Texans running back had a good game against them. Jahmyr Gibbs had a good game against them, and there was a couple more. I'm trying to think who it was. I'll find it, but I'm looking for those games where a running back had a good performance against Green Bay because we got to run the ball. Got to run the ball. So I'm gonna get up out of here, man. Good night tonight, man. Good crowd tonight. Good conversations, man. Y'all was hot on it. Philly MM. I appreciate you, Jacob Ledford. Appreciate you. Choa. Is that Choa? Choey up. Eagles one of the complete teams to win it all if they coach them right. I think they're good in that category. PA Philly man. I appreciate you. Philly MM. Bro Claude, I appreciate you, brother. If you still in here, Corey Littles coming with the heat, I appreciate you. The Internet Wizard Society, you was bringing heat all night, bro. I appreciate you, man. We ain't gotta agree, but we can still be friends, man. So keep bringing the heat, man. I appreciate your opinion. Val 316, as usual, brother. Chris, as usual. Grady Clips, bringing the heat today, man. I appreciate you, bro. Don't y'all be strangers. We're gonna do this thing again tomorrow, probably around the same bat time, probably around 9:00. So check my socials on X and Instagram and Threads and Blue. I'm on everything now, man. So but I'm gonna get up out of here. I'm gonna see y'all tomorrow. And as usual, go Birds.